Tech Talk, I am discussing the role of sustainability in packaging innovation with Viktoria Pakhnyuk, PhD, Sustainable Product Development Manager for Kwik Lok. Hi, Viktoria. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hi, Joanie. Thanks for having me.
So this is a really big topic, Viktoria, and it's something that Kwik Lok is really involved in and feels very passionate about. So I think the first order of business is to just kind of quickly dive into Kwik Lok's journey to sustainability through innovation. Can you kind of walk me through that?
Certainly. So Kwik Lok has been around since the 50s, and we have been making our bag closures from the same material since they've been created. And so with our new ownership, we have a very defined focus on sustainability. And so my role is now to look at different material options and be able to provide them according to customers as they need them in their markets, and be able to take ideas and move them into final launched product. Some of our goals are to make sure that our new locks work on our existing bag closing machines so that we can make that transition more easily for our customers, but also to make it compatible with our own procedures. And so material properties are very important, and that's where I have a lot of my focus.
Hey, so I'm hearing this more and more, these discussions around packaging and sustainability. Packaging is a huge component in this conversation. What exactly is it about packaging that makes it more sustainable?
So sustainability can be interpreted in different ways. I like to categorize it into three buckets. So first would be the feedstock. What are your materials made from? Is it potentially renewable, or is it fossil fuel based? Another thought, the second bucket, is what does it take to process this material and to make your product, or to make the packaging? This includes factors like the energy usage or how much emission is produced from it, water consumption, things like that. And then the third is, after you've been able to make your product, put it to use, where does it go at the end of life? What is its destiny? Is it going to go into the landfill? Will it be recycled? Could it potentially be composted? And so different materials will have different trade-offs between these three categories, and we can't expect any one material to be ideal and better. So when we ask what is sustainable, we have to be more specific about how we're thinking about sustainability. What works better for one material may not work better for another.
Right. And so this is something that Kwik Lok really keeps top of mind in all your product development. And having a PhD, you're really looking at the science of this in the product development of these closures. So how exactly are products developed at Kwik Lok? Can you sort of walk me through what the process looks like from all the way from concept to launch?
Definitely. So at first, we have to be able to define the scope of our work, have a project. And this involves not just engineering, but also sales and their understanding of their market, listening to our customers, knowing not only what regulations are looking like, but what kind of commitments, for example, are retailers making, so that we can provide the products that people need. And then that kind of goes in hand with, well, how can we match that with whatever's available for us to use? And so being able to understand not just an ideal material, but working with what we have. And so from there, we can then partner, and we have a lot of collaboration to be able to develop different formulations. And so what we're trying to do is essentially make a product that isn't our original plastic to behave like it. And so that involves lots of measurements, lots of samples, and being able to look at it at a lab scale. And once we are able to screen through, and of course, because this is R&D, there's going to be a lot of failure. Once we are screened through, we can then go into production and look at something on a larger scale, be able to run through all of the steps of in our equipment and make sure that it works well. We know what needs to be tweaked? Is there any equipment that needs to be changed? And then from there, we can optimize and go into our launch. And this is where we include more of our sales and marketing. And also, very important, we have to think about what kind of claims we can make about our materials. So this is where a life cycle analysis is very important, where we can think not only about the function of our material, that it works, but what are some of its sustainability attributes. And so this is where we can make calculations and have some data about what the emissions are, for example, and how it compares to our original material. So, and then certifications are also very important. How can we show that this is sustainably sourced, for example, fiber, or how can we show to our customers that this is something that you can compost at the end of life? And so being able to include third-party review is something we definitely tried to do.
Okay, this is really fascinating to me because, like you said, this is a 50-year-old company. So in the old days, bakers would think about closures and how they close the package and how they're keeping the product from having an optimal shelf life or avoiding tampering and things like that. But now you're using terms like formulating and R&D and certifications and claims. And this is a process that is very similar to what product development looks like for a baked good itself. So that makes me very curious. What are some specific product launches that Kwik Lok has produced recently?
Yeah, one of our most exciting recent launches is our EnviroLock. So we have switched to a plastic that has higher rates of recyclability, so polypropylene-based formulation. And overall, it uses less plastic in the bag closure, but at the same time, it still delivers the same performance we expect from our original closures. And this is something we want to make easier for our customers to transition to. They don't have to change out their machines. They can use a lot of the same processes they've been doing before. And from the life cycle analysis, we've seen that this new EnviroLock, in its total lifespan, will consume 67% less water and 44% less carbon emissions. And these are very big numbers. And you can imagine that even though it's a small little bag closure, when you're making millions and millions of them, this really does add up. And so we're very excited to have this option available. Another development that we had related to the EnviroLock is the labels that you can attach to them. So we have, instead of using adhesives, we essentially just weld a label on there. And this also brings us closer to recyclability with a matching label material. And so this is a patent pending, and we hope to be able to better serve our customers with these options.
It's amazing, amazing. So one thing that I know Kwik Lok is really known for in this journey towards sustainability, you all are really great at meeting customers where they are on their own sustainability journey. So when you think about that, what would you say is the best way for a baker to kind of examine where they are in their sustainability and then reach out to Kwik Lok to learn more about how they could get started in using some of these new products?
Yeah, sustainability is not a simple landscape. It's definitely a complicated and ever evolving area. And so really, a lot of it is understanding definitions, but we want to be able to be a source for our customers, have knowledge of our products, be able to show that there is no single right answer, that there are trade-offs, and that things are headed in certain directions. We make sure we keep on top of any news about, regulations and other decisions so that we can be ready before we have to scramble for any solutions.
So what is the easiest way to get in touch with Kwik Lok to learn more?
You can definitely visit our website at kwiklock.com and we can get you in touch with sales representative.
Well, Victoria, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me about sort of the science and technology behind the product development for Kwik Lok's sustainable closures.
Thank you for having me. I am glad to educate and share.